Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Krista.
Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you. I
But
feel
more
welcome.
importantly,
No, he gets a pass tonight.
oh, I hate that, but all right. That's fine.
I thought you were going to say smash. The recording started.
See, he did it to himself. If you leave him long enough, he'll do it.
A self-burn. Those are
See,
rare.
he likes it.
See, now you'll never get a pass again. Welcome home.
Thank you.
We missed
Welcome
you.
back to our bullshit.
Yeah. Longer than expected, but I'm back and I've got a whole bunch of practice in, so that's good. You guys aren't going to be too ready for what I have planned, but that's what we have tonight for, because originally tonight was going to be the episode called True Polymorph, which is where we were going to talk about the changes that we're making going into season 2. But I'm thinking I might change the name into Foresight, and just basically this will be like a
We're changing the name into Foreskin.
Oh my
Foresight.
god, no.
Jesus Christ.
Demonetization.
We aren't monetized. Don't lie.
Demonetization, more like what monetization? Am I right?
We can say whatever we want. No
Ayo.
one cares.
We have a piss cut. Remember?
That's true.
Yes, we are classy, actually, obviously.
But yeah, just kind of like this episode was just going to be like a preview of, what's coming up. Maybe I'll still keep it as True Polymorph on how we're making the changes. I don't know. Fuck it, I'll figure it out in post. Fuck it, we'll do it live. So since we've played last, I think there's been that big change with the 2024 rules. We are going to try to navigate that. That's kind of what we were doing before we started the call. So we are going to try to transfer our characters over into the new rules while keeping them intact as much as possible. I did kind of give everybody a chance between season 1 and season 2 to kind of make any changes they wanted to make to their characters. So changing subclasses, if you want to move your ability scores around, if you want to change your species within reason, we're fine with doing that, especially as we move some of my homebrew over. And yeah, so that's one of the big changes here. The plan is for us to use a kind of combination of Tasha's rules and the 2024 rules. So, like the 2024 rules, you still get an origin feat when you take your first level, but with Tasha's rules, you can put your ASIs wherever you want. That's kind of what we're trying to do. It's going to take a little finagling. Much easier on paper than it is on D&D Beyond. So it might take a little bit of time for us to get that transferred over, but all in all, it's not really going to affect how we're playing or how our characters are made. It's not going to... I know there was some worry that with the new monster manual coming out, the creatures might be too strong for some of the players that had not made the full changeover, or that were using older classes, etc., V2V. Not an issue. It's definitely not going to be an issue here. I'm pretty sure I can throw in stuff that's high above your CR already, and I have already, and you guys are able to fight it. And if I wanted to throw really difficult stuff at you, I'd throw the Cobalt Press stuff at you, because I find that is already consistently levels higher than what the WotC stuff was. I think Justin can attest to that. Would you rather fight an Owlbear or a Savager?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Well, Savager was like a giant porcupine bear, right? Wasn't it? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I went down, I think, 3 separate times in that fight. I was the only tank. Yeah, I was a paladin. I used all of my healing on myself. I still went down 3 times.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about, creatures being too incredibly strong.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue. Half the stuff we use is homebrewed anyways. So I also find that I have a tendency to forget what creatures can do sometimes. Generally, like resistances, legendary
resistances,
legendary actions, lair actions. I need to get better on that, just to make things kind of more enticing. Which, honestly, that's a really good segue into what's the next big update is, which is we are going to be adding a mildly visual aspect to the game.
Yeah, basically the map. So remember, we did this in the side game, the Hunters Society game that we've recorded a few episodes for. And we are going to try and record the map, basically the non-DM version of the map. So we see what the players see.
Yeah.
And all of the tokens moving around, and the DM can still cover things and uncover them.
Yeah.
I found
and everyone
the
drawing
visual
penises on the map and stuff. Yeah.
Nobody did that.
Well,
they didn't
I'm pretty
yet,
sure,
but they will now.
I'm pretty sure if anyone did it, it would have been one of the boys.
yes.
Yes.
Into the flying dick formation.
And I just found having like a map of the city up and like zooming in on different parts particularly helpful.
Yeah.
And like even just seeing the tokens moving around was very nice. So
yeah,
it helped immersion. It helped us knowing where people were in relation to things.
And remembering what they were doing and knowing if you're close enough.
Yeah.
And it was like the number one recommendation and ask at any time that we have had our podcasts posted and had anyone give feedback.
Yeah.
So clearly it's the direction to go.
Yeah, and it also allows for me to do, like, I know combat isn't like incredibly, like, I mean, there is combat in the game, but it's not important in every game, or I guess I would say in every session. But I do find that it will make combat, it'll allow us to make combat more interesting, more dynamic. I can throw things like cover in, we can throw in inclines, we can do more, right? So I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be fun for everybody, like not just the viewers and the listeners and stuff like that. I think it'll be really fun for the players first and foremost, which is always the goal. Getting views and stuff is cool, but I want to have fun. That's the goal.
I do better when I can see something, so it makes me happy.
Yeah, turn-based combat, especially if it takes a really long time and it becomes somewhat repetitive, can be hard to sit through with nothing to watch.
Yes.
Also, by the way, The people in this, I guess, episode are Jacob, myself, Justin, Karen, and Krista. Because
That's true.
we didn't introduce ourselves again this time.
Whoops. Oh well.
Whoopsie-daisy.
Could we go back?
No.
Here we are. Don't worry, they'll fix it in post.
Maybe.
I like how you say we'll fix it in post.
It's a throwback to
that's
saying exactly.
Don't worry, Justin will do it.
Justin will do it.
Justin, yeah, I all through season 1, I said Justin will do it. Justin will change it in post. Justin will edit it out. And Justin, who edited a majority of last season.
You edited basically the entire thing.
Justin / Jacob.
Yeah, how about we just say Jay will do it?
Jay will do
it.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be better. So it's either of us.
Yeah. No, I will say thank you for editing the stuff that I couldn't. So,
yeah.
Also upload some more stuff so I can edit some more stuff because I am bored.
All right.
-1 shots are going to be coming soon. Working on getting everybody's stuff put together, transferred over to the new rules. That's going to be a task. I don't want to say like an arduous task. It really only, when it comes down to it, it's only really going to be a couple minutes each. You know what I mean? It's also going to take probably a few hours to get the big issue that we're having right now. I'll just say straight up is the backgrounds and having it so we can use Tasha's rules and use the new 2024 rules to make like custom backgrounds that give your ASIs.
And
so that's what.
To be fair, we are not going to be the only ones who have that problem.
Yes.
We just have to go and search D&D Beyond. They might already be created.
Yeah. And if not, it's honestly not going to take that long. Once we figure out how to do one, we just cookie cutter it for the rest, right?
Yeah. And I think it's not super difficult to do them. I can probably do it in like a day or two.
Yeah. Won't be anything too, like I said, it won't be too arduous. It'll take a little bit, but moving that first level stuff around is going to be, I think, the hardest part of using the new rules. The other side of that is a lot of the new rules I find are pretty much just like they add stuff. Not all. Some stuff has been like actively changed. Some stuff has been mildly nerfed.
Paladin.
How did Paladin get nerfed again?
Every Divine Smite is now a spell, which means it can be counterspelled.
Oh, okay.
And then it is you can kind of still use it the same way, but it also uses a bonus action, so you can't do it multiple times, which is the correct thing to do. Doing it once per turn should have been what it was originally. Yeah, it's also now a spell. Like, it always cost a spell slot, but I forget if it allows you more freebies later on, but you get a free use of Divine Smite as a paladin.
I do like with the Smite being a spell, I do like how it has kind of, with all of the reworking, incentivized people to use the other smites, just because it basically it altered them so they act the same as Divine Smite instead of being their own thing, if that makes sense. But
I still wish that they had baked a for the subclasses you get a specific smite, so your Divine Smite turns into Branding Smite for Conquest or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cooler, but I mean, we're well past the point of changing things like that.
No, I mean, I will say with the, and I'll get into index stuff later, because there's news around that. But with the Paladin subclasses I made, I think 3 or all 4 of them, because there's 4 subclasses, at least 2, if not 3 of them, part of their subclass features changes your elemental damage from your divine smites, just because it's thematic. So, yeah. We also have players that are using some of the homebrew. So, like, Justin, you were always using our homebrewed Dragon Warlock.
Yep, Dragon Patron Warlock.
Yeah. I think it has been updated. Might have to go update it again. I know there's extra invocations. I think we're going to take one of the custom invocations.
I mean, one of the custom invocations was Blister.
Yes, but you got Blister through a different way.
Yeah.
I think there was one. Let me just take a look here. I'm just going to look through the. I want to say it was like Secrets of the Horde. Yeah, I think it was Secrets of the Horde. Something like that. One of the invocations. I think one of them allows you to change the damage that one does to like one whatever that you get boosts from. I know Krista and Karen, you guys are both looking at possibly changing over into the homebrew races.
Yes, as long as it plays well with my backstory.
I'll make sure it does.
Then yes.
Yeah, and
that will make it easier or closer to my character.
right.
Yeah, so essentially, like, this isn't. It's not changing your species. You're not becoming like a new species. This is just like Minotaurs in Crescentia are called Astorians. Bliss is and has been an Astorian, but is now using the Astorian traits instead of the Minotaur traits. Same with Imogene in the Serpus, right? So
Right. I like how Medusa flavored it is. I don't feel like I'm losing anything, especially if I can maintain my first level feat. So
yes.
I think it's probably not that big of a difference, especially since I was considering changing some things between seasons anyway, just as Imogen has developed a little bit differently than I intended. And I think every, like any person kind of does character development, you know?
But we love Imogene's character development, so.
Yes.
She has a bestie now. We're besties. We were
We've been
discussing...
besties since like episode 2, I think.
I know.
When you and I went off alone and just decided to steal all of the gold in a chest and not tell anyone else.
Right? They don't even know how rich we are necessarily.
I'm pretty sure they know now, but
they
yeah.
probably do. But they didn't for a while. And like, right, we just got stuck together. You know how like you like start the year of school sitting beside someone, and then by the end of the year they might like be your best friend because you've been stuck together doing all of your like projects and stuff. That's Imogen and Corbin, and they've developed a bond through that. And
culminating
now,
in the season finale when you basically had to follow me, but I ran out to help Monkus.
Yes.
Bring Monkus back into the Waving Tower before it disappeared.
Of course, anything for you, bestie. But also, off of the recording today, we were discussing possibilities for what we're predicting for the future season. And Imogen might think that Corbin has an evil twin who has an upside down mustache. And she will be watching for that.
There's no evil twin. We are not even the same.
You wouldn't tell us
species.
if there was, though, to be honest. So there
Imogen's
might
just going to pull.
How do you know that
ask,
Corbin is not the evil twin?
Dun dun.
Oh, he's got a mustache. Now it's more of like the Tom Selleck mustache, but you know.
We overlooked that entirely.
Every morning, Imogen asks Bliss if she thinks that Corbin is acting any differently, or if he looks slightly different, and like tests him with questions about their friendship.
Yeah.
Another big important change to address, once I can get kind of a hold of everyone. We got a couple of new people coming in.
Yes. We
Like,
have already talked in previous Breaking Characters about Victoria and Wade.
Yeah.
But we also have possibly two new. One for
Possibly two.
sure. One wants to listen in first.
A spectator initially.
Pesky spectators.
We should also try to figure out how we're going to differentiate between myself and the other Justin.
I think we were calling you OG Justin.
You just started that, and feels weird.
I thought it was really funny when I told you guys about the codex, and
yeah,
I was like, "Oh yeah, no." It really reminded me of like working with you, and you're like, "Wrong, Justin."
Yeah, because the new Justin said that it looked really cool.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
No, that was embarrassing.
It's fine. It's
Is
gonna
his
happen.
mustache upside down?
It's fine.
Is his mustache upside down?
Cool.
I don't. So him and I have been in a video call when we were making a character for the side game for him. Him and I did basically a one-on-one thing where we were going through all the different possibilities and like helping him make his character and everything like that. And I don't remember. I think he just has a regular beard.
Is his beard upside down?
I don't think so. He has hair. Is that an upside down beard?
Sure, we'll say yes for now.
Okay.
But I am very excited to see where this is all going to go, and kind of like how the new characters will kind of fit in.
Yeah.
Already kind of have an idea of how Wade's character fits in. And we've already played a little bit of like some pre-games with Vic.
Yeah.
So
and Vic already kind of is, by the time season 1 starts around, Vic is already part of the group.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately for everyone else, we didn't record those, so you will never know what happened in the cave with the behemoth, or froghemoth.
Do you think that we could have like a story time just once where us and the listeners can hear the backstory? It doesn't have to be before the start.
So this is a story all about how they went to a
you can wrap
cave.
That is
and then
different than I expected for story time. I was picturing in front of a crackling fire, and you're in like a smoking jacket, and you put on your little reading glasses, and then crack open the book and read to us.
You know, I have glasses now.
I think that you should. So that's great.
But they are not reading. They are specifically not reading glasses.
Yeah, they're for distance.
They're distance
mine
glasses.
Too.
I'm literally not like, if I use them while reading, it will actively make my eyesight worse. So
yeah,
it makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
But I definitely need glasses for seeing road signs at night.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing, I guess, I know that we're recording, so maybe this is for after the recording to discuss this, but if you want, we could do, like, one of the things you want to do is have sort of like arcs or story beats that are specific to the different characters in the podcast. For the beginning of those, we could actually have the person read their backstory, or at least talk about their character.
Yeah.
We kind of hint at it at the negative one shots, but
I think I forgot to send this before I left.
And yeah, like, it doesn't need to happen, but I think having at least the listeners be aware of everyone's backstory, just so that they know, like, what we know.
Okay, I did share it.
Okay.
But I haven't shared it on any of the social media yet. It's still in the planning stages, are kind of in the writing stages. But possibly looking at making another podcast. This one would be a little different. Generally shorter form, more structured, and generally there's only going to be one person. So the plan is people will be able to read. We'll have some like music and sound effects and stuff like that, which also be ready for more of that in season 2.
Oh yeah.
But going over some of the myths, going over some of the legends, going over folk tales. Some of them might be closer to like radio plays. Some of them might be closer to spoken word poetry. Some of them might be like they're all kind of over the place, but the main central theme of it all is learning the history of the realm.
Yeah, we'll call it like Tales of Crescentia or something.
I think put it in. I think it's called. I think it already has a name. I think it is History of Crescentia.
Okay.
I think that's what I posted. Let me see if I can repost it in here.
So yeah, we could do that. Add the one thing that we have already done for it, done and recorded, and
yeah, legends, folklore, and stories from the Splintered Realms. Yeah, so that's a big thing. Another thing I said we would kind of get to later. The index is 99% done. I think there's like 13 pages left to do. Most of that is the tables that aren't even used in the new rules, like the bonds and stuff like that.
flaws, yep.
Yeah, I'm still doing them. I'm still making each of them unique, and that's what's taking so long. But there's going to be one more. So this will be the second to last draft. The last draft is the next one that I'll be doing, which will be the final read through and the final kind of brushing up stuff and what's what I'm looking for here, adapting it to the new rules.
New rules, balancing it for the new rules.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. And we would be looking for beta testers. So we'll probably start putting out feelers for that in the near future of people who want to test out these new things, kind of like Unearthed Arcana, right?
Yeah.
And that's for the first index. Then I can start working on the second index, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. There are going to be 5 indexes.
And then just have a whole collection of books.
Well, okay, so consider this
Let's take a look here.
Consider this an official announcement. So the first book is the Hero's Index to Exploring in Crescentia. This is the equivalent of the Player's Handbook. This will have everything you need for character creation, new feats, new invocations, new species, new subclasses, one new class. The Elementalist, very big in the realm of Crescentia, is very important.
Something that I desperately want to play at some point.
Yes, I'm not a spoiler. There is going to be an opportunity for people to play some kind of one-off characters at a certain point in the narrative that I have set up. That would be a really good chance to play an Elementalist.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Heroes Index, everything you need for character creation. These names aren't entirely set in stone. They might change, but this is like you'll get the idea of what everything is from what I'm kind of saying. So the second book is the Forge Master's Index to Weapons and Wares in Crescentia. This is your item book. It's going to be probably 400 or 500 pages of weapons, enchantments, enhancements, things you can do to change. There's an entire section on materials that you are able to make stuff out of. The rarities, etchings you can put on your weapons, they give them strength. All this different stuff that you can use for customization. It'll be where we add new weapon types. It's where we add signature weapons, which if you watch the B team, or sorry, listen to the B team.
Whenever we start posting that. Speaking of, I think I told you guys, but we are redoing.
Yeah.
We have to redo it just because it's been so long since we played. No one will. Yeah. I don't think anyone remembers what happened.
Absolutely not.
It basically
We're on an
happened
island.
2 years ago.
There was a pirate ship.
There was a pirate ship. Not even a pirate ship.
Not even a pirate ship. So signature weapons are cool. They're generally weapons that are given to someone. They have a particular amount of charges. You can spend a charge to do something, but when you roll a critical hit with that weapon, you basically get the effect of if you used a charge. That is the gist of what a signature weapon does. I'll put in the actual ways to set them up for your characters and how to have kind of fun with that and customization, because that's the whole point of it. The third book is the Archmage's Index to Magic and Spellcasting Crescentia. This is the spell book. I want to say there's about 400 different spells, at least, for all different spell lists, for different, all these different classes. There's potion making in it. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff in that one. The fourth book is the Wildlings Index to Monsters and Beasts in Crescentia. This is the monster manual. Kind of what it says on the tin.
That's probably also where we're going to put Project... Was it Project Chimera? No, Project something else.
Which Project Rampage.
Rampage, that's what it was, yep.
Yes, Project Rampage. So a little behind the scenes here. I generally like to give different sections of the books project names just because I find it fun. It also kind of gives a sense of what they are. Project Rampage is at least at the moment, a 60 to 100 page section of that book, which is probably going to be one of the longest books just because of the amount of stat blocks that are in it. Because I think there's about 500 stat blocks. Yep. But Project Rampage is all about different templates that you can put on creatures to make them other things. It originally started as growing and shrinking creatures.
Basically, to help with CR.
Yeah, to help with CR, to help make things. Essentially, the idea was, we said, from Moth to Mothra. So we wanted to be able to put in stats for if you went to a tiny creature to a gargantuan and back and forth, and how you can give them extra abilities and make them more frightening. Essentially, we want to add kaijus to the game. So,
they're cool.
And then the last book is the Empire's Index of Life and Power in Crescentia. This is essentially the DMG. So we have our player's handbook, our monster manual, our spell book, our item book, and then this is our DMG. So this has everything that isn't in the other books.
It's basically all the other mechanics.
All the other mechanics. We have mini games. We made an entire card game. I put in rules for jousting. I put in rules for cook-offs.
Jousting
And cook-offs.
Yeah, remember when, I think, was it Corbin and Bliss, or was it Corbin and Imogene who were going to do a cooking show, or we were joking about doing a cooking show?
Yeah. Somebody.
It was someone.
Somebody said that.
I also kind of remember that, and talking about all of the games and stuff.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
we did already play one of the games in one of the episodes, which was the trivia game.
Yes,
Right.
we did.
If we don't want to bring that up again.
Yeah, so we made Sphinx Gate, and the thing with Sphinx Gate in particular is that I put in the rules on how to add and alter sections to make it fit different people's games and different people's worlds and stuff, right?
Yeah, because there was some Crescentia knowledge questions, but that's not going to
Yeah.
really happen if in someone else's homebrew world.
Yeah, so that's all there. I think I also put like the list of the gods. There's ship warfare stuff, Project Homestead,
which may or may not be as required now because they have
Bastion.
Yeah, the bastions. There's a new bastion system in the new rules.
Yeah,
but
so
we can at least add onto it.
Yeah, so the whole thing. So that was originally Project Homestead would have been like Bastion.
Yeah.
After I started making Project Homestead, it did change. It is now more of a DM mechanic instead of a player-oriented thing. It is essentially Project Homestead is something that allows the DM to quickly make an immersive town or city. Kind of sets up some structure and some rules that are like, if it's a city, it's going to have about this many people. These are some of the spots that it can have. It has a store. This is the store. If there's this many people working, they might have these different jobs which offer these different things, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like a way to help flesh out a town without...
Exactly.
If you don't want to use the random generators that are out there, this is something that you can do to basically have it just in a book so you can read through and choose different things.
Exactly.
He really has thought of everything.
Pardon?
He really has thought of everything.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of times I had to reel myself in with Project Homestead, because there was a point where it almost became a farming simulator.
You made Stardew Valley.
That's not too far off. It's like, okay, in order to build walls, you need to have wood. In order to have wood, you need you need like this. And there's definitely go find in the indexes. One of the things that I put in is it all depends on how much you guys, how much people want to put in. You want to take it as it is, awesome, perfect. It should be good to go. If you want to take it deeper, there are tools there for you to take it deeper. You can put in anything you want there. These are all jumping off points. In the monster book, I put in rules for mounts and pets. I put in an entire system on how you can form a bond with your pet, right? Or your mount. And some of them have special abilities that you can activate if you have a strong bond with them. Kind of like Pokemon or something.
Like Pokemon or like any game that lets you have pets.
Yeah. So, and it's just it's checks that you do over long periods of time and a lot of downtime stuff. But yeah, so that's the index. A little behind the scenes on the index. Originally, it was going to be one book. I had to split it into 5. Google Docs has a word count limit. I was not aware of that until I hit it. It is.
I think most people become aware of that.
It is 1.4 million characters.
Right.
Give or take.
in contact with that. Not normal people.
It is
Just us.
that was about 800 pages. I think I have a total of about 1,700 pages, give or take, so far. So when I split it up into 5 different books, I took the different indexes. I'm not starting from scratch, but just kind of almost restarting it as if they're all their own books, and that has added a good 100 pages each. So, altogether, I would not be surprised if it hits 2,000, 2,100 altogether. So I have seen a 2,100 page book, probably not selling a complete index. It would be a collector's item for sure. If it ever got to that point.
That would be expensive to make.
That would be really expensive to make. It would be really expensive to buy. I know I would want a copy.
To display on an altar in your home?
Yeah, I would probably need to put it on the floor and use it as a step stool, honestly.
Right? I can't imagine how big of a book that would be.
I've seen some pretty big books. I saw an Oxford Dictionary.
Oh.
They are huge. That was about 2,000 or so pages.
Yeah. Once everything is made and tested and like balanced and everything, we do plan on. Do you know where you want to put it? Like online for people to get?
Yeah, that I'm still looking for, or
Okay.
still looking at. I mean, we could go the easy route and do Amazon or something like that. There's definitely a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
So and that's another thing is I don't have art yet.
Yeah.
So this is 2,100 pages without art. So yeah.
We're gonna need
In
artists.
order to make it interesting to people, it needs art, but in order to have art, it will be so much bigger again.
Yeah.
Well, not even just that. It's that's gonna that it gets pricey because that's something I'll get into right after we're done this. I'm a big champion of like paying artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like and stuff like I'm not gonna. What I might, we'll have to look into what we can do. I might need to put placeholder stuff in when we do the beta to just basically say like this is a sense of how the setup's going to be. These are placeholders. This is not the published thing. So with that, we're not like we'll put credits in, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like we use stuff from like pop culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll be doing stuff like that, and then just be like, when we are actually publishing, if we get to the point where we are publishing and putting it out for it to possibly make money or something like that, at that point, we'll be actually getting real art into it. But I'm not worried about that right now. I can't really control that part of it at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But kind of on that note, I am going to post, like, this will actually probably be posted on our page before this comes out. I am going to say we are going to have some rules changes. Just because, like, due to, like, climate, kind of how things are, we're putting new rules in place. Just because of how the environment around us is, we're not going to be using AI at all. I know a couple of people who use AI to be their DM in some of their home games, and if that works for you, that's great. We're not going to be using AI art. We're not going to be using Chat GPT to help write scenarios or anything like that. I will say going into season 2, there are going to be special puzzles. Don't look up the stuff.
Oh,
Just because I ran this this puzzle encounter, and people really, really enjoyed it. But if you throw it into like Google like image search, it just doesn't make it fun. Not that I think anybody's going to do it, but also kind of like make sure people don't put in like the comments, or if we're streaming on Twitch, not putting in be like, this is what that means, this is what that means. Because that will kind of like ruin the fun of you guys having a puzzle. Also possibly looking at doing some stuff with Twitch. So that's interesting.
yep.
The plan being there is a way for us to connect these Zoom calls to Twitch. So we can do a live stream and then also get a recorded version of. So the plan for that would be we do we'll call it like our live and uncut, uncensored or whatever. And then we'd get that saved copy. And that saved copy would be what we would then edit and put on like YouTube and Spotify and stuff like that, right? Still a couple kinks that we need to work out with that. They might not have the visuals. So, but it, all in all, when we did it last time, it didn't, honestly wasn't that much of a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? So if people are just kind of okay listening live and they want to listen live, it's not any sweat off our brow, but we can still edit as normal. So making it more accessible.
Yeah, now you
more
get to
platforms, more people.
yeah,
Yeah.
now you get to hear when Jacob has his pee breaks. We don't actually hear him peeing, don't worry.
No. You've never heard me pee yet. That's why they call me the pterodactyl.
The pee is silent.
That is hilarious.
I had to think for a second.
But yeah, I know I've just kind of been like talking a lot. But yeah.
Is there anything anyone else wants to add, I guess?
Yeah.
Your thoughts and comments? Because you guys are kind of just learning more about the index. You knew that it was a thing, but you're now learning more about it.
Or just questions about what's kind of coming in season 2.
Well, I don't know that I want to know what's coming.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I like everything that I've heard so far, and I'm interested in added visuals for interactivity. I like the updates that we're going to make. I think that the addition of live streaming could be potentially good for other people getting to hear us. Like it opens the door to other people or other different types of people. But still having our recorded post insert is probably a good idea because we spend a lot of time on nonsense. And that could be hard to rein.
Yep.
I'm the culprit of nonsense, so like I get it.
And to be fair, kind of along those lines, there are certain audiences that are going to enjoy that more, right? And they're going to more likely be on platforms like Twitch. So it, like I said, it's surprisingly not as big of a hassle as I thought it was going to be. It may not have the visuals, so it may just be a listening thing. At least until we can get it worked out. But there's not really any reason not to if it's that easy. Because all it is a couple buttons. I press a couple buttons and then we're all good to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I will say story-wise, as big as all these changes that we're making, going through with character creation, with adding some visuals, with the tokens, which we haven't really talked about, but everybody has, their own tokens. Mm-hmm. We're doing character introductions. We're doing all this stuff. All of that kind of pales in comparison to what I have planned for season 2's story, because that's where like my main focus is, right? Is the story.
Yeah.
It is one of the things I thought that season 1 could use more of is exploration. You moved around a bit, but on the grand scope of things, you didn't really move that far. Or didn't really explore that far. That's going to be different in season 2. You guys are going to be going all over the place.
Yeah.
New locales, new biomes, new ways to travel.
Possibly new realms.
Possibly.
We started in...
Want to do that?
In the frozen tundra, did we not?
That's where we're starting.
We are
now.
Right now?
Yeah.
You are in the frozen tundra. There has been a 3-month hiatus. It's going to be interesting because right now you guys are technically off the map. So finding your way back is your first big challenge. Mm-hmm. And then, the plan is to kind of send you all over the place. Like, you'll see as time goes on how that's going to be accomplished and like how you're going to be able to go from place to place. But there's a lot of places that people have talked about that are not only going to be seen, but are going to be explored in season 2. So
we may even be seeing old faces from season 1.
Ooh, throwback.
Yeah, some surprising faces.
Yeah.
New faces, old faces, old new faces.
I was going to say red faces, blue faces.
Maybe. But, any final words anybody wants to put in?
Barnacles.
Good word.
I feel we should leave it at barnacles. I don't know if that can be topped.
Yeah. Well, I guess all we can say is barnacles.
I hope that doesn't become a thing.
I hope it does.
Oh, it's going to stick like a barnacle.
Yeah. We are a ship, and the barnacle is on us.
Yes. We are the ship.
We could call our fans barnacles. Because they stick with us.
I like it.
Okay. So this, obviously we're not going to do this with not all the people here, but the group still needs a name. So work on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we had a couple names, but I don't remember any of them, and I don't.
Great.
Yeah.
Mouse, rat, mouse.
Trash Griffins.
Oh yeah, Trash Griffins was one.
Yeah. No, I think I've been lucky. I've been lucky in the Chivalry Isles game, which was the game that predated this. You guys did have a group name.
Yeah.
So
it was the Silver Hand.
The Silver Hand, yeah.
And the game that we've talked about a little bit, the one that hasn't been posted before, we call it the B team because they are the second team to go in somewhere.
Yeah.
So the name the B team kind of stuck. And with the side game that we've posted a little bit about, the Hero Society one, I believe the group name was like the Recruits, but that might end up changing. I'm not sure. We've only done 4 or 5 episodes, recorded 4 or 5 episodes so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, kind of one more thing. This isn't set in stone yet, but the plan for episodes going forward is that we have roughly one episode recorded a week. They might not be on the same days, and they might not be the same cast each time, but the plan would be to have 2 weeks per month where we play the Witch Hunter Wars. 1 week where we record an episode of Breaking Character, and 1 week where we do a side game. So the recruits, the B team, the Kobold heist, something along those lines. Now that's fluid, and that can change depending on what kind of comes up or what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And to let everyone else kind of know the rule that I have here, not every person needs to make it to every game. Stuff comes up, family and stuff comes first, mental health comes first, all that stuff. So if you see that, like, if certain players aren't showing up certain times, don't worry about it. This means they have something else that's going on. They're still part of the game. They're, unless they need to drop, they're still part of the game. They're still coming back. Okay. So,
I guess, yeah. And unless noted otherwise, they are still around.
Yes. There are noticeably people from the beginning of the game that are not playing anymore. They have dropped. They are still part of the lore. Not technically dead. I have talked to them about their characters, and that's all I can say, because the rest is like I will say you will see what has happened to their characters in the meantime.
And yeah, that's, I guess we could also say that's kind of part of the reason why we had Motley and Hestia join the quote-unquote Galterra crew.
Yeah.
Was because there was only a couple of them who could play anymore, and we didn't want them to be left alone, or basically just dropped out entirely.
Yeah. But yeah, this is as much to the players as it is to, like, anyone who's listening as we yell out into the void. Just take care of yourself. I always want this to be a nice, healthy space. I want it to be therapeutic,
Welcoming, accepting.
Yeah, accessible. I believe that D&D can be very therapeutic for people. I believe that it can help people quite a bit. I know it's helped me through a lot, but I also know for some other people, they don't necessarily see it that way all the time, and sometimes they can see it as an obligation or a stress thing, especially if they are missing time. So just, like, don't worry, just take it easy. People don't have to make it to every game. You can miss games. If you want to do a makeup game, if you want to do something like that, that's always a possibility. Just essentially, long story short, just don't worry. Be happy. Be chill. Go with the flow. It's all good.
To add a, well, I guess, mid-2000s, early 2010s meme, keep calm and carry on.
Isn't that from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I'm not sure, but it was on a bunch of t-shirts way back when.
Yeah, I think it's a British thing.
I agree that it's a British thing.
Yeah. Kind of like Mind the Gap.
Yeah. Always bring your towel with you.
Yeah. But Chris, Karen, you got anything you want to
add? Barnacles? No, I don't think so. I don't.
I knew you were going to say it too.
We're going to end with Barnacle.
I am hell-bent on this ending with Barnacles. No, I think I'm good. But this has been very insightful, and I am excited to play with you all again.
Yes. I'm excited to play Corbin again. And also not to DM.
I do like the idea of calling our fans barnacles.
It is not derogatory in any way. We do not intend it to be derogatory in any way.
No, you're stuck with us. That's what it means. You're stuck by us.
Can we spell it barnacles, but knuckles like on your hand?
Bar knuckles?
Yeah,
Barnacles? Okay, goon.
That was partially for goon.
Yeah. He's the barnacle. Yeah. We'll see.
Right.
But
Note that he's not agreeing to it.
pardon?
That somebody note that he's not agreeing to it.
Who's not agreeing to it? I'm all for it.
The spelling.
Oh.
I know, but that was mostly a joke. It's fine.
Bye, you
friend.
barnacles.
Bye, barnacles.
Bye.
Barnacles.
Barnacles.